And what's up, everybody? You tuned in to another episode of Strategic Moves. I'm your host, Kenn Dowell. This is a place where we bring art, culture, politics, and business all together. And we do it every Sunday right here on this channel. But when I'm not shooting this podcast, I am the owner of Strategic Resources, where we specialize in political campaigns, government, and public relations. I've been doing it around this city for over 25 years. And I met some interesting people along the way. And this program gives me an opportunity to bring them in on the show. We can sit back and we talk about some of the things that we find interesting. And hopefully there's something out of it that you can get that will help you in your business life or maybe personally. So if this is something you think you find interesting, I want you to hit the like button, hit the notification bell as well, so that you would know the next time this program is coming on. And today, I have a guest on my program that is none other than one of our local news anchors around town. And we're going to get into that in a hot second. But before I get into that, I want to first give a shout out to the best podcast producer in the city of Cleveland today. And that's DJ True. What's happening, man?
What's going on?
Every day is a holiday. Every day is a holiday. Today is a good one because it's cold outside. Ooh, it's cold. It's cold. It's cold. It's cold. And we're about to get it, y'all. This is Cleveland. And so we had a long, I don't know what you call that, because we just now getting snow. So we're about to get it, and we're going to get it all in the next 2 weeks. We're going to get enough snow in the next 2 weeks of cold that's going to last us all winter. What'd you say?
I said Cleveland be so mixed up on the weather.
Oh, yeah.
One day it snows. One day you can walk out with a sweater. By the time you get home, you freezing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Man, come on, Cleveland.
Hey, so what do you think about our guest we got coming on today?
Interesting.
You know what? You say our program is we only bring on interesting people. That's my thing is I find people who I think are interesting and I bring them on show. That's why everybody don't make it on here. Because you got to be interesting. And this young lady I got today actually was nominated as most interesting person by the Scene magazine. They said for 2024, I'm looking at it right here, it says most interesting. She was one of the most interesting people for 2024. And the year just got started.
So you found one.
I found one. See that? Quick, right out the gate. All right, we're going to talk about her. Her name is Sia Nyorkor. That is her name, and I hope I pronounced it right. I had been practicing on it. My wife said, why don't you just keep saying it? Because I'm terrible with names.
I do the same thing.
But I want to talk to you. She is a anchor for Channel 19 News. Everybody know 19 News. They are everywhere. That's 19 News. She's a anchor there. She's been nominated for Emmy. She has several awards-winning journalists. She's been on a few TV shows on TV One, Oxygen, a few places like that. I just told you she was nominated as most interesting person in 2024. She is a real live sister. I saw her on 19 News. It's sisterhood. I call her Sister Soldier. We got into place. She's Sister Soldier here of 19 News. She gets in there and she has a lot of various different things we're going to talk about. She's really passionate about issues that affect women, and hair is one of the big things she do, and we have some experience with that. We dealt with Congresswoman Chantel Brown, who actually tried passing some legislation in Congress that has to do with women and natural hair and all that stuff. So she's the Crown Act, and so she's going to come on and we're going to talk a little bit. So everybody, let's give a warm welcome to Miss Sia Nyorkor to our program. What's up? We're happy you're here.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks for coming out. It's a cold day out here, but we appreciate you coming in. We're trying to make it nice and cozy for you so you can be nice and warm.
It's cold out there, but it is warm, and I feel the love in here.
Excellent. So we're going to do like we do in most of our programs. We want to just get a quick background about you because, one, you got a unique last name, so you have to have some history, and I know you did some going back to look at your history and find some your roots and met some of the people in your past. We're going to talk a little bit about that. So tell Sia, where are you originally from? We get in everybody's business a little bit, so we want to know where you're from, your mom, your dad, your sisters, brothers.
Where
So tell us, where your people from? Tell us where you at.
My people are from Liberia, West Africa. Yes, and so I was born here in America.
Okay.
But both my parents, born in Liberia, to the indigenous tribes in Liberia, the native people.
Okay.
And they met in New York City in the late 70s, moved to Indianapolis, Indiana, and started a family. And
Wow.
that's where I was born, and here I am.
So what did your parents do?
Oh, man. Everything worked. You know, immigrants.
They was one of them Jamaicans. They had 10 jobs.
You know,
Africans had more than Jamaicans.
We work. Okay? Africans, we work. Everybody knows that. Yeah, my dad was a business owner.
Really?
Yeah, he owned a chain of laundromats and dry cleaners.
Okay.
Growing up, and we were working in them
You guys worked in them
Let
laundromats?
me tell you, probably before we were supposed to.
Exactly.
We were working. And my mom actually was a welder for Jen Air.
Really?
Before it became Maytag.
Wow.
Yeah, she had a good job. So we
Serious welder. Put the goggles.
There's a photo. Yeah.
Really?
I see the photo now in my mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom was out there welding. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, excellent. Then she had other talents too. She's a seamstress and an excellent chef and cook. And so they raised a good family, Indianapolis, Indiana.
How many brothers and sisters you have?
There are 6 of us total.
Wow. Big family.
Big blended family.
And now how you fit in that?
Oh, so I am my dad's first and my mom's third.
Ah.
So in my parents' country, in my dad's tribe, he's from the Gisi tribe in Liberia. There's a naming order, and it's you go by the father. And so since I'm my dad's first child, Sia means first daughter of the father. And so even though I'm my dad's first and my mom's third, you go by the father. That's how we do it.
So mom had a couple kids.
Yeah, my mom had an older brother, older sister. They're in Long Island, New York. We're all close. There's no such thing as half brother, half sister,
Right.
stepsister. None of that.
Wow.
Brother, sister. That's it.
So you are the first.
I am the first, yeah, because there's 12 years between my older brother and older sister, and 12 and 11 years.
So how was it growing up in Indiana with family, immigrant family,
Listen.
and that kind of? Because I know Indiana is Indiana.
It was different. I have to tell you, my parents were the first crop of West Africans to come to Indiana.
Okay.
And actually a lot of the West Africans that came to Indiana will tell you they came because of my parents.
Really?
Yeah, they
Okay.
are. And there's a community there. But it's not like, it wasn't like that when we were growing up. Pretty much everybody, we knew everybody when we were growing up. They were all aunties and uncles.
Okay.
Now things have changed, and because of the schooling and some of the industries like Eli Lilly and stuff, there it's much more diverse. But my parents, we were some of them. Like in our class, we grew up going to Catholic school. We were the only African.
Really?
Yeah, we were the only African American kids. There were some Black American kids in our class, but we were the only
African.
And that was in the 80s.
So your parents sent y'all to private school?
Yes, we went to
All the way through.
all the way through.
Oh, so y'all he was working.
Listen, you don't appreciate that until you get older and you start making your own families. And you're like, man, what a sacrifice.
So what kind of student was you?
Actually, it's so funny. I saw something on Facebook yesterday, and it was talking about, they said, for all the people that said, and the teachers that said I talked too much in class. And it took me back, and I said, all those teachers that told me, Sia's a chatterbox. She just won't stop talking. We'll put her in the corner. We'll put her over here. She'll talk to any and everyone every year. And I used to get in so much trouble.
Really?
Because my dad would just be like, stop talking. You're so inquisitive. And I said, look, isn't that what pays me today? Talking and asking questions and hearing people's stories.
Exactly.
And I said, who got the last laugh?
So let's talk about it. So you got out of there. You went to college. And
I did.
So
I
when
did.
you get? Did you play any sports in school or anything?
No, I didn't play any sports. I was student council president my sophomore year.
Okay. So you did something else.
I did student council.
Okay, you was running the school.
Yeah, I was running it.
Okay.
I was one of the class leaders and stuff. So
Okay.
I would say I was well liked.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. And like I said, when you're one of the only Black kids in a PWI, it is what it is.
That's good. But to be voted means that's pretty good.
The thing is, though, too, like I said, because we went to Catholic school our whole lives, I've knew all those kids since.
Right.
I still know that we are. I go home and there they are. It's like we've known each other like our whole life, 40 some odd years.
Exactly.
And so we moved through the system together.
So how was college and where did you decide to go?
Okay, so I went to Indiana University in Bloomington, Indiana.
Okay.
So I tell people I'm a native Hoosier, and I went to Hoosier Town, and studied journalism. I had a ball on campus. I had a ball, met some great folks, pledged Delta Sigma Theta sorority.
I see you got your jacket on.
Chapter.
You said tomorrow is actually your Founders Day. All right, we'll give that up for everybody. So shout out to the Deltas and congratulations on your Founders Day.
Thank you. And I had a great time at IU, learned some great journalism.
So what made you pick journalism? You knew that's where you wanted to go?
I always knew from a young age that I wanted to do something in the communications. At a young age, I used to watch the talk shows. I watched Oprah. Let me tell you, I didn't miss Oprah. I didn't miss Sally Jesse Raphael.
Yeah, I remember her. Yeah.
Jerry Springer.
Oh, yeah.
Ricky Lake.
Yes,
all the
yes.
shows. I would just back to back, just like Geraldo.
We was talking about that earlier. Hey, so we are dating ourselves now because we sit there.
I'm dating myself.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
Whatever.
Everybody watch our show are in that area. We know all of those programs, so you're fine. You're in good company.
And my parents used to just be like, what? My dad used to tell me, I want you to major in business.
Yeah.
I want you to do real estate.
Right.
And it wasn't until I got my internship, my junior year in college. And in journalism, you have to put together a resume reel.
Okay.
That's when you put together your audition tape, and they see you on camera, and they see you reporting. And I had my little suits, and I had my little head, my bob, and my makeup, and I was a serious news reporter. And I put together my little reel, and I showed it. And I had worked all summer to put this resume reel together. And I popped, it was VHS. That's
Right.
what you know. And I popped it in the VCR. I remember my dad was like, oh, I'm tired. I don't wanna. And he saw, and he was just like, his mouth fell open. He was just like, is that my daughter?
Saw you on
He
TV.
saw me on the TV. I can't tell you how many times he replayed that thing. And he's, okay, I get it now. No more business. I get it. And I'm in support.
Wow.
And then he was just like, okay, she's doing what she wants to do. And I never heard nothing about going to business school again. He was all into the journalism.
So you did your 4 years there, and you
Yeah, I did my 4 years in journalism at undergrad at Indiana University. I worked for in public television and public radio in New Jersey for a few years.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I decided I needed our industry was changing. Everything was becoming digital, and I felt like I was missing some skills, and I felt like I was becoming a dinosaur, and I wasn't. I was young, and I said I can't do this. So I went back to school.
That's good.
Yeah, I went back to school. I went to Columbia University in the city of New York.
So what made you go to New York?
You know what? I was living in New Jersey, and I said, if I'm going to do this master's thing, I want to go to the best school ever.
Really?
And I said, so I'm going to go where the program is the best. And lo and behold, I applied, and they accepted me, and I'm like, oh, smack, I'm here.
Wow.
And it was a great year.
I was gonna ask, how did that experience go? Because this in New York, like expensive and all of
It was
that.
the
And
most
you had,
expensive year of my life.
God.
But I would not take it back for anything.
Did you stay on campus, or you had to go
I
get
had
a
my own
place?
apartment, no. And
Wow.
the problem was because I had a New Jersey address. I was living right across the river. I didn't have that good Indiana address no more. I was responsible for finding my own place. I didn't get the dorm, but it was fine because I had my own place. It was fine. And
But you was in Jersey, which is
in New Jersey.
ain't quite as bad.
Listen, I was there in 2 minutes.
Okay.
I
okay.
take the bus
Right.
or I take the ferry. I was there. I mean, it was
Okay.
so. I got to class quicker than some of my classmates that
Who
lived in
lived-
Brooklyn and Queens and the Bronx.
Right.
They used to
Right.
laugh at me. They're like, "How'd she get here so quick?" And it was great though. I went to school 2008, 2009, and it was an election year. And we covered the presidential election.
I think I read something. Was that where you was doing the MTV stuff?
I did, yeah. I worked for MTV part-time,
Okay.
and we had a ball.
So I think I read they said you did a whole thing with a backpack. So tell us about that. What was that?
That was when this was new media back then. Like it was unheard of. Cell phones,
Right.
video. Like this
Yes.
was not.
Yeah.
They got us these little Nokia phones. There was no such thing as video on the phone, but we had it. I mean,
Wow.
MTV had the top-notch technology, and they gave us all this stuff. And nobody had this equipment except us.
Wow.
And we just went and we would cover stuff right from our little phone. And it was unheard of back in
Wow.
those days. Now it's
Oh, they
know,
can do a whole show on
yeah,
your
there
phone.
was no iPhone back,
Exactly.
you know. We had these little flip phones and these and
So what was you doing like when you say y'all were covering it? So tell us
so,
what
for
y'all was doing.
example, I was the New Jersey correspondent because that was still my home state at the time. I had to go out and cover the election from the youth perspective.
Ah.
And so what were the young people rock the vote,
Right,
choose or lose.
Right.
That was that. Yeah, it's because that's when young people turned out in droves in 2008.
That's probably I was just to say, that's the beginning of all of that.
That was the beginning.
Yeah, when you just mentioned Rock the Vote, that's the
That
very
was
beginning.
the
So you were in the
very
very beginning of pulling that up?
Very beginning, and it was just...
Okay.
And so they wanted to hear what issues were important to young people.
Okay.
And so I would just run around the state. I would go to rallies or go to campuses and just take videos, send back stuff. Sometimes they would send people, we would blog. That was when blogging was still relatively new. There was no podcasting yet. But we would just get out and do our thing and just and talk. And the candidates all came at the time. Sarah Palin, McCain, President Obama, Clinton. They all came. They would come and stump on the campuses, and it was great.
So were they actually taking your stuff, or was you giving them stuff and they were...
Sometimes it was both.
Okay.
They would take our content. Sometimes they would keep it whole and then put it on their website, and you would see us reporting.
Okay.
Well, and then sometimes they would put it all into here's what's happening in the state. Like they had this map. And they would show, here's what's happening in New Jersey, and then it would be a quick little flash.
I got you.
So it just depends, but yeah.
So that was a good experience.
It was great.
Yeah. How long you do that? The whole
I
election
did
year?
that for the whole year. It was the whole 2008.
Wow.
Yeah, the whole election year. So
Was that a paid position?
It was a paid position.
Ah,
And
that was even better.
It was even better. And I did it while going to school.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you was in school.
While going to school. I was like, oh.
So how you find out about that?
Listen, you know what? I found out I auditioned.
Really?
Yeah, I found out they had I don't want to say it was a contest, but they had an open call, and I sent in my stuff.
Really?
And lo and behold, I'm not gonna lie, like I was highly skilled.
Okay.
I had the skill set, and I demonstrated I had a passion for political coverage from the youth perspective.
Okay.
Which, it was very important. And I'm like, listen, like this is what's gonna happen, y'all. This is gonna turn. We're going to see people coming out because we'd already seen the caucuses, and we'd seen how young people were very passionate. And this was when social media was just starting and people were voicing their opinions. And I wrote all that. And then they brought me in for an interview, and they brought me in for another interview, and then boom.
Got the job.
I got the job, and I'm like, and then I got into graduate school, and I'm like, oh my God, how am I gonna do both? Because they had already told us in graduate school, they said, you're not supposed to work, focus on your studies. Right. And I said, so needless to say, I had very sleepless nights but it all worked out.
What did you go to grad school for?
Journalism. I have a MS. I have a Master's of Science in Journalism.
Oh.
I do. I got my Master's of Science in Journalism. And like I said, at that time, I just felt like I needed to go back and get some of the people in my age group. They were falling behind, and I didn't want.
I understand.
I didn't want to. I said, I'm not gonna let this technology and the way we consume and produce journalism. I'm not gonna let this get me. And I'm like, come on, we can still do this.
That's correct.
But you had to be willing. And then I always had a thirst for still learning. You never stop learning. I'm always a student, and it's funny because I was in the middle. There were actually some older students in my class, and then there were a lot of young, people. So I was in the middle, to be honest with you. But because I had worked already, and there were some people that came right out of undergrad, and I'd already worked and had a job and stuff. But so it was a nice mix. What was cool about my class was the international students. I met some of the most interesting. You talk about interesting people. My classmates. Let me tell you something. You think you're interested? You ain't see nothing until you meet somebody that speaks 11 languages.
Right.
And has traveled the world. And it's just
right.
I'm like, these people are like
seen a lot of stuff you just never seen.
And reported on and written books and done all these things. And it was.
Is that something you wanted to do?
Write a book?
No, I'm thinking travel and do that type of reporter.
I did at one time. I did at one time. And I'm not gonna rule it out. There were just I know my parents were just like, promise us you won't go somewhere and be embedded. And they were like, we don't want to see you war.
Covering over the war.
That would just hurt their hearts.
Yeah.
But at one time I thought I did. But I really like local journalism. I do. I'm a community person. I care about what's happening in our communities. And there is shrinking coverage about what is happening in our communities.
That's correct.
And so
that's correct.
I don't want to leave that. If I leave that and then go and do something national, that's a big hole there.
Yeah.
And that's one less person on the ground telling you what is happening and inquiring. So for now, I'm not interested in doing that. I'm interested in what's happening here.
So what happened? You finished that out. You finished finish grad school and you decide now I got to go to work again.
I go to work, and it's so funny. They told us, they said, you're not going to be able to stay in New York City. And I said, dang it, I really want to stay here.
Wow.
But I knew I wasn't going to be able to stay there. You can't. You can, but you won't. Yeah, no. And so I ended up in Gainesville, Florida.
Gainesville,
Market
Florida.
163.
Wow.
I put my car on the auto train. It
So
went down
163.
95. Market 163.
So to put our audience in perspective, what is Cleveland's market?
Cleveland is a top 20 market. Cleveland is market 18.
Really?
Out of 212 TV markets in the U.S., Cleveland is market 18.
Really?
So when you make it to Cleveland, you've made it. You've done well. Yeah, it's a big market. And now that's Cleveland and Akron.
Wow.
Yeah, that's top. That's top.
I didn't know that.
You make it to Cleveland, you've done well. You could. That's why you see people come here and stay here and retire.
Wow.
Now, market 163, those are starter markets. You're not staying there. I knew I wasn't staying
You
in
said
Florida.
Gainesville?
Gainesville, Florida. I had a culture shock.
Wow.
I had never lived in the South in my life. That was the first time somebody called. They told me, they said, you are so pretty for a colored girl.
Ooh.
And my mouth fell open. I said, and the boss was this beautiful, this wonderful white Christian woman. And we were in the elevator, she just looked at me. And she was just like...
She looking like you looking.
She was just like... 'cause at that time, I'm from Indiana, but I had come from New York.
Right.
So they think, oh, she's from up north. That she's from the Yankees. She's from New York. She's going to have all that mouth. But I'm just like, Sia? She's got to pick your battles down here. I'm not telling you this. I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm just letting you know. It's different.
Wow.
And I found that out. I really did. I found that out.
Now, was you then I wouldn't imagine, because we go through life and life gives us experience that changes us to make us who we are. So then you're not Sister Soldier like you are now. So
you know what?
You
There's no hiding. There's no hiding who I am. I am black. I'm African American. There's no, was I wearing my hair natural at the time? No. I was wearing my hair straight because I had to get a job.
That's where I'm leading into.
At that time.
And you know what? And I'm not more so saying that look is what I'm saying. You had to play. Now there I am. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay.
That was always, it was never an option. If you wanted to work, that's what you had to do.
And I would imagine for African Americans, as well as black males and females, it had to be hard because of the look of what they would want TV folks to want you to look like.
My hair was never straight enough, no matter how many times I relaxed it. And especially moving to Florida.
No matter how many times.
Let me tell you, it's funny because one of my mentors, love her. I'm gonna say her name, Mara Schiavocampo.
Yeah, we'll give a shout out.
She was a network correspondent at NBC at the time, and she told me, she said, Sia, you're gonna have to get a weave, and a wig or a weave, and I said, no way, I'm not doing that. I was like, I got hair. No, I'm not doing it. And she's just like, you're going to Florida, I'm telling you. And then I got to Florida. Let me tell you about that humidity. My hair would just, and I had a relaxer, but my hair, it was just, I looked horrible. I looked back at some of those reports, and I just looked, it was distracting.
Wow.
It was terrible. I looked terrible. Sweating, hair just, two different textures because the perm was growing out, the new growth was coming. I just couldn't, and so I was just like, oh my God, if I don't look the part, who's going to hire me? I'm going to be stuck down here in Gainesville.
And I imagine the money wasn't that great.
The money was horrible.
I couldn't imagine. I'm about to say, I imagine the money wasn't great at all.
I made more at my little part-time gig than I made at that journalism job. And
wow.
That's just the bare facts. But I got the weave, and I
got the weave.
I got the weave. I didn't want it, but I did. I got the weave, and then I had to learn how to deal with a weave, and leave out, and this. It's so funny. That's actually when I went natural. I never had this big moment where everybody's just, I'm gonna do a big chop. I'm gonna go natural.
Right.
It was in 2011. I got the weave, and my hair just, the relaxer just, because I had to keep weaving up, and they were just like, we're not gonna give you new relaxers anymore. This is stupid. You're wearing weaves. And I said, okay. And finally, after 2 years, the relaxer just grew out, and I looked up, and I have a photo My natural hair was like down my back.
Wow.
All the relaxer fell out, and my hair, I had never seen my hair that long. And then I didn't know what to do.
Wow.
I had to get on YouTube. I was like, what do I do with all this hair?
Right.
I'm like, and I was still in Florida because it was like
Wow.
humidity. And that was my transition into doing natural. But then clearly at that time, hardly anyone was wearing their hair. There was no afros on TV. There were no natural hairs. So I was natural underneath, and I got wigs and weaves. I did that up until 2018. I went on to Wichita, Kansas, and then I came here to Cleveland. And my early reporting here in Cleveland, you see me in some weaves and wigs.
Oh, yeah. I was telling you, because I do my research. And I was going to tell you, boy, we could do the many hairstyles of Sia, man. Because I, like you said, I looked at it, and when I'm going through the videos, I'm like, no wonder she did a crown thing, because she didn't change her hair like 1,000 times.
I mean, just horrible. It was terrible. And it got to the point in 2018, I went to our National Association of Black Journalists Convention in Detroit. And I wasn't looking for a job. I wasn't up for a contract. I wasn't up for nothing. I was just me. And I had my hair I had them into 3 buns. And just as natural as I wanted to be, all my hair. It was gorgeous. And I came back from convention. I remember that Sunday night, and I said, normally when you come back from somewhere, vacation, or you say, I'm going to take my hair down and put it back straight, or put the wig on, or put the weave. And I said, I don't feel like it. And I just was like, nah, I'm not going to do it. But I tell you what, I didn't sleep that whole night. I was scared, anxious. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to go in there tomorrow. And they're going to call me in the office, and they're going to be like, what are you doing?
Now you with 19?
Yeah,
at the
with
time?
19.
Okay.
I'm 19 my whole time here in Cleveland. And I said, what are you going to do, Sia? And I remember saying, I'm a fight. I said, I'm at this point, at this age, I'm done with this. I'm not putting no creamy crack. I'm not putting that horrible wig on. I'm not, I don't want to, I'm not, I have hair, like a lot of hair. I was like, I'm not doing it. And I remember I walked in and nobody said anything. And a couple days went by, and my assistant news director, who is actually my news director now, Brian Seclair, I remember he came up to me, he was just like, did you do something with your hair? And I remember I was dying inside. And I was just like, oh my God, this is it. This is it. They're finna work me out this door. My career is over in Cleveland. I have to get a lawyer. What we gonna do? And he was just like, it looks good. And then he just walked off. That was it.
Wow.
And I was like, all this time in my mind, I was building like it was gonna be like this big thing.
Wow. That was it.
That was it.
Wow.
And I haven't looked back. And
Excellent.
afro, puffs, braids, cornrows. And I try not to do anything that's quote unquote distracting. But I'm like, Black people, we are versatile. Our hair is not going to be the consultants tell you, wear your hair so it's always the same. Nothing about us is the same. We're not a monolith. Viewers still know who I am. My hair is an afro, when it's in braids, when it's straight. My reporting, my journalism, my commitment, I'm still the same. And so I'm like, I'm done with that. You have to look the same. Like, nah.
Let's go into this then, because I know you're a good journalist, and you did your research, and you did your work and everything else. And we talked about the hair and stuff. In your career, the look.
Yeah.
How have you been disappointed because of people saying, yeah, you don't look like we want you to look?
Oh my God, let me tell you something.
Because I know that had to happen.
To this day, right as I stand here today with you, there are still jobs that I can't get because I'm wearing my hair natural, because it's a little too coarse. There are still places that I can't go work. And I made a decision. I made a conscious decision. And I said, I don't want to work for those places. If I can't come as I am, if I can't wear it as it grows out of my head, I don't want to work for those places. And so if that means that I'm not going to be able to work at this place, it wasn't for me.
That's correct.
In my heart of hearts, I'm like, God has something better. Like I'm not worried about those. I'm going to go and be where I am valued and loved and affirmed. I'm not worried about those places that don't want me the way I look, but it is. And those are the things you think about when you're younger. Because for years, I had an agent. I had a news agent who worked to get me jobs and stuff. And we went our separate ways. I'm no longer with him. But I remember him telling me, he said, Sia, he said, you need to get your hair straighter. You need some highlights. He said you need to take off those glasses. He's just like, you need to stop wearing bright lipstick and bright colors. And he said you need to lose 40 pounds. And I remember, and I'm thinking like, well, you just don't want me to be me. And I remember telling him, I said, listen here.
Wow.
And I told him I'm very vocal. I said, listen, I am not nobody's black Barbie doll.
That's right.
And I said, I'm going to be me. I said, they didn't hire me to be, or they want me. And I said, all your people look the same. I'm the only one that looks different. And I said, you took me on anyway. I said, so you must like something, because if you didn't like it, you wouldn't be out here hustling, trying to get me. And I really resonated and sat with him. And I said, times are changing. I said, you and that old stuff. I said, those days are over. I said, no, we come as we are.
No, and I see that. And the reason why I could say that is we were talking earlier, when you look at your news channel you're working with now, Channel 19 News, we say it all the time, that's the black folks channel. A lot of most people in the community, and I'm going to say Cleveland news, because the people in Cleveland, when you really talk about Cleveland news, it boils down to that. Channel 8 and the rest of them, they all are in there, but if you really want to know what happened, I think you better go watch Channel 19 News, because they everywhere, just like they said, everywhere. And I respect that. But moreover, the quality and the type of people, when you look at that, gives you a sense of, oh yeah, this is straight up folks that you would know from Cleveland, people in the city, that kind of thing. Diverse, very diverse.
I always say, and I'm vocal about it in my newsroom, and I talk to management about that.
Yeah.
I sit on the executive board of the National Association of Black Journalists. I'm the parliamentarian, and in recruiting, I tell people, I said, the newsroom needs to look like the community.
That's correct.
And one of the things, when I go out in the community, that's the first thing people say to me, and I don't mind it. I love it. They say, you look like us. And I said, thank you.
Exactly.
I do.
Exactly. Hey, you look like a neighbor or somebody they know, somebody they've seen before.
That's how the newsroom needs to look.
And that's how it should be. And over the years, and not to take nothing from the other ones, because over the years, they're your Wayne Dawsons and the others are people from the community that people know and say, okay, you're good Cleveland people too. But 19 got a little flavor going on over there. Something a little different. And everybody is different.
I'm going to pass the word on and tell them to keep on.
Keep on, because everyone's different. Channel 8 has a different look. Yeah. Channel 3, I'm just not really... I'm trying to get into it. When I turn it on, it just looked different. So
there are some great people working.
Not taking them from the people. I'm just the look, and not talking about the people. I'm talking about the actual, the way to set up and everything is different. They're more of a desk, and they talking to you that way. Where you guys still got the big, looking, and it's just a total different when I look at it. And I think you gotta kind of like the channel news at Channel 3, what's going on at 5, you gotta know what's going on at 19. So it's one of those things. So let's talk a bit about you and journalism. I want to go back though to Gainesville, because that's where it started. And when you were in Gainesville, what was probably one of the most interesting things you think you covered in Gainesville?
Oh man, let me tell you.
Because they say them people in Florida.
Let me tell you. You hear that term, Florida, man.
Yeah.
No, Florida. To this day, I still get calls from like the networks, TV One, Oxygen, Discovery ID Channel. They call, and it's always my Florida stories.
Wow.
And these are stories that I covered like 10, 12 years ago. And it's something horrible that happened. And really horrible stuff happened. Oh my God. It's just some atrocious stuff. But the one that sticks in my mind is the Seth Jackson. It happened in Ocala, Somerville area. So it's right between Gainesville and Orlando. And they brutalized, they tortured that young man, cut him up, buried him in the backyard, burned him, put his body in a lime pit, and then went on about their day.
This was racial?
Juveniles. No, this wasn't racial, actually. No, it wasn't racial.
No, not racial.
They were youths, yeah. What was horrible about the case, they were juveniles, 15, 16-year-olds. What? And they got life in prison. Those kids are still in prison. Wow. Life in prison. And after that, they changed a lot of the laws to say that it was it was unconstitutional to be able to put juveniles away for that long, but they weren't grandfathered in. Wow. Weren't grandfathered in. But that was a horrible case. And people, all the time I get requests, because I actually covered that one. I was in Florida, and I covered all their trials, sentencings, and I had a jailhouse interview. One of the little girls
Wow.
talked to me from jail.
It was a little girl involved in it?
Or a little girl. I called them a little girl, but they were juveniles.
Really?
Yeah, they were just, girls. Yeah, there were several girls involved in that case.
Wow.
2 girls and 4 boys. Somerville 6, they called them. Yeah.
Wow.
It was a horrible case.
Horrible case.
It got international attention.
Wow.
It was horrific. Yeah. There were some racial things. There were definitely some racial things. We were in the South.
Yeah, I know.
Oftentimes they say Gainesville was southern Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
We were there. We weren't in the Panhandle, but I saw my fair share of Confederate flags.
I'm sure you did. How long you stayed in Gainesville?
A little over 2 years.
Okay.
Almost 3.
And then you got up out of there, huh?
Oh,
Opportunity came and you made?
Opportunity came.
Where you go?
Wichita, Kansas.
You said that with a smile.
Wichita, Kansas. Let me tell you, the thing about this broadcasting career, it will take you to some places that you never thought you would ever go to.
So where did they rate? You went from 160, now you're going up the ladder a little bit?
Market 65. I jumped almost 100 markets, honey.
Wow.
I was on my way up.
So what was you doing there?
You know what? Chasing tornadoes.
Oh, so you
Storm chaser. Chasing tornadoes. That's
Wow.
Tornado Alley over
Really?
there. Oh, yeah. Kansas was, whew.
Did they give you one of those cars they had in that movie?
We didn't have the real storm chasers like those. They had rigged up some stuff, but we chased storms.
Really?
Oh yeah, Kansas was an interesting place. I'll tell you this: I have some really great people that I met there that I consider family. Really good people, and not a place I would want to live again. No,
why?
But good people. You know what? In the middle of the country, it was not very diverse. It was not. It
wasn't as diverse as Gainesville?
No, surprisingly.
Wow.
You know why? Because Gainesville had University of Florida.
That's correct.
And the students came from all over. That was a great university. And the football program. You talking about SEC
that's
football
correct.
Gators.
That's correct.
You had. But
Wichita, Kansas is Wichita.
Wichita was yeah.
So you chased storms. How long you chased?
I had a ball. I enjoyed, yeah. And let me tell you.
So is that weather or is that?
Yeah, it was considered weather. But when there's inclement weather, we're all out there.
Really?
Yeah, we're all out there. We were all, and I like I said, some of the best people. Had a great church family, just good people. We're still I actually visit almost every year.
Okay.
That's how much I love the people and stuff. But yeah, but man, at the time the political climate, the state was just for that to be President Obama's grandparents from Kansas, and it was just you couldn't say Obama's name, and it was just so ugly. It was ugly, and it was just like,
wow,
he's got some roots here, y'all.
They wasn't having that.
It was just, I just didn't care for. There was just not great discourse or.
Now, was there any diversity in the news station there?
You know what? I was the only black reporter in the market for almost a year and some change before another black reporter came in the market.
Wow.
And we had all 3 stations, all 4 stations.
The whole market.
In the whole market, yeah.
Wow.
Yes. And this is a strike. Getting, people of color to go to Wichita, Kansas, they're going to pick to go somewhere. If you have your choice to go to. But back in those days, you went where the job.
So you went because you wanted to get out of Gainesville?
I did. And I liked how they were talking. They made me a good offer. It was a good opportunity. I visited the station. I liked it. And I said, you know what? I can move up here. I can cover good news and good stories. So it wasn't anything bad. I don't want to speak ill.
Yeah.
But man,
I don't prefer to live there.
Yeah, but it was just a little too, I knew I wasn't going to stay there. And then that's the thing with these jobs. And so even Cleveland, when I got the offer here, I had a couple other offers.
Really?
Yes, I did. And I remember when Cleveland called, my friends were like, Cleveland?
Where were you at before you came to Cleveland?
I was in Wichita, Kansas.
Oh, so you came from Kansas to here?
Yeah, I came from Kansas to here. And
hey, hold on. You going to say your friends said what?
Oh, my people were like, they said, Sia, you better take that job in Milwaukee. You better take that job in Kansas City. I said, no, I might go to Cleveland and see what they're talking about.
Really?
My cousin had got married in Indianapolis, and I had told them, I said, I'm being in Indianapolis. I said, why don't my dad and I just hop in the car and just drive for the interview? And they said, you'll do that? And I said, yeah. I said, It's not a big deal. I said, I'll drive Indianapolis, Cleveland. Let me see what it's looking like. Because I said, that's the closest I would ever be to home anyway.
Right.
Without hopping on a plane. And so my dad and I came in. And I remember we drove in and we were just looking at the city. There was no Interbelt then.
Okay.
Because this was in 2015. But we were coming in off 90 and we were looking. We were just like, It's like, this city looks like, I'm like, this is. And they put me up in Playhouse Square. And my boss told me, my former boss, he says, Sia, whatever you do, wear walking shoes because I'm going to take you on a walking tour.
Okay.
And he said, and he reiterated, do not wear heels. I want you to wear walking shoes because I'm taking you on a walk. He said, we had another candidate come and she wore heels and she didn't follow instructions. Right. And I said, I'm going to follow instructions.
Right.
And I remember he pulled up on his bicycle.
Really?
Yeah, he pulled up to my hotel on his bicycle. He's like, come on, we're going to go walk. And I was like, okay. And we walked for hours. He took me all around the city and showed me the city. And I remember I was just like, I like this city.
Okay. I
said, we walked around Playhouse. We went to University Circle. We walked downtown. We walked everywhere. And then he took me to dinner on East 4th Street. I was exhausted.
I know. I listen, when he said, I'm thinking to myself, like, girl, he took you for a walk?
Yeah, he did. He took me for a walk. It was in late August.
Right.
And I remember he was just like, the debate is coming here. Okay. That was when there were 18
That's correct.
And he said, the debate is here, so we're going to have some work, but you'll hear from us. And he made me an offer, and I said, I got to take this job.
Really?
I did. I remember the folks in Milwaukee were angry.
Wow.
Because they were just like...
They wanted you
They wanted me, and I was just like, and then Kansas City was just... And I said, I can't, now. I said, I got to take this job in Cleveland. I said, this city is... I remember by the exact words, this city is on fire. And I said, there's something, I felt the energy.
Really?
And I said, I felt like it was coming... not that I ever left, but I love a comeback story.
Right.
And I just feel like people look down on these Midwest cities all the time. And I said, I'm from the Midwest. I'm from Indianapolis City. And I said, no. I said, something about this city. I like this. I said, I'm going to take this job. And so I signed up, was it 2 or 3 year contract? I can't even remember. 2 or 3 year. And I said, I'll just be here a few years anyway. Because I was like, I'm on my way to Washington, D.C. I'm on my way to Baltimore. I'm going to be here a few years. I'm out of here. I'm going to come here and do my thing. I'm out of here. And then, look at me. I'm
still here?
I'm in my 9th year.
Wow.
I'm in my 9th year.
Man, time go fast. You've been here 9 years.
Almost 9 years.
Wow.
Yeah, almost 9. I'm in my 9th year. I'm starting my 9th year. And I love it. I absolutely love it here. Yes, I've had opportunity to leave. Yes, I've had offers to go other places. I like it here.
Excellent.
It feels like home.
So tell me one of the best stories you done wrote. And it could be here, it could be in Wichita, it could be anywhere. You think you sit back, it could be maybe the very first one you ever did. What's the one that sticks out?
Best. There's been so many good ones. I covered the Cavs championship parade. That was phenomenal.
That's wow. Yeah.
That was
awesome.
I was there in they called it the Q back then when they won.
Oh,
and just Father's Day and all the men, the grown men crying. Man, it was just LeBron, watching LeBron. I was there when J.R. Smith got off that plane naked. President Obama was like, tell J.R. to put a shirt on. I just think back to little moments and the World Series when the Chicago, they brought those goats. And there's just so many, the RNC. I was there when he wasn't president then, Donald Trump accepted the nomination. I was there and I just...
How about interviews? Any big interviews you want to talk about that sticks out in your mind?
Gosh, big interviews? Let me think.
Other than Kenn Dowell?
That's right. Big interviews, gosh. I mean, God, can I even remember?
Yeah, that's how it is because you do so much. It all blends together.
Because honestly, I'm out on the street and I consider the people in this community that I talk to, I consider them big. That they share their stories with me, that they took the time to just consider them the big folk. So I don't know.
Who would you like to interview?
Who would I like? Gosh, I would love to talk to Ms. Oprah.
Yeah, that's been one you've been
my
wanting.
God, that's like my God, I would love to talk to Ms. Oprah.
You want to interview Cat Williams?
Just some things.
You done had enough of that.
I have a capacity. You'll pass on Cat.
No, really, Mike.
I'm a pass on that. Pass on that. I just, yeah.
No money, Mike.
This is that Money Mike. She don't want no parts of Money
I
Mike.
don't want no parts. Because sometimes I'm able to speak my mind, but I'm not able to speak as freely. And so sometimes I'm just like, man.
Before you go out, I do want to do a couple things with you because
Yes.
before we close, we always let you get you prepped so you get a chance to talk to that camera. I'm gonna let you close us out.
Okay.
But also, I wanted you to just give us a couple things you on those nominations and the awards that you did win. Give us what it was and what you did, and a brief about your going home and meeting your family. I think that was very important. And then I got a couple of questions, and we're done.
Yeah, in 2005, I got a United Nations fellowship to go to Liberia to cover the elections. And in my parents' country, they had civil war there for almost 2 decades.
Wow.
Almost 20 some odd years. It was civil war. It was terrible. And we couldn't visit as children because of the civil war. It was going on. And so in my age group, we were just, it was terrible. We couldn't visit our parents' native country. And so it wasn't until I was an adult that I had the chance, when it was stable and there was no more war, that I was able to go back. And I went back in a capacity as a journalist.
Wow.
Which was, to this day, I still can't even put words to it, because I got to meet my family. I never met my relatives. We had talked on the telephone growing up, and this was even before, I don't even, did we have Skype? I can't, there was no iPhone. But I mean,
Skype been out a while, though.
yeah,
Skype been out a while.
Skype, exchange photos. Going back that way, I went with the contingent of journalists through National Association of Black Journalists and United Nations. And they were like, hey, this is going to be the first Democratic election. We really want to raise awareness. We want news stories. So come on, go cover it. So I said, I'm gonna do a documentary about meeting my family for the first time and covering this election. So it was really a unique story, and I shot so much stuff.
Did you shoot yourself, or you brought somebody with you?
I shot myself.
Wow.
I didn't have a photographer, and it's so funny because the African people were like, where's her cameraman? And I was like, ain't no cameraman. I'm the camera woman. This is what we do. This is just when you want to get something done, you do it. And everybody helped me. But so I documented meeting it was phenomenal. And I met Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, first female head state in Africa, phenomenal woman, economist, Harvard trained, all the things, like World Bank. And it was an honor to sit down with her. And
Wow.
yeah, and it's just been, God has really blessed me. It's been up. Since then, I've been able to cover a number of stories. A couple of years ago, I did a story on my natural hair journey, and I talked about how we are still trying to get legislation passed here in Ohio to ban hair discrimination, the Crown Act, and it has not passed. It has not gotten out of committee. And hopefully this third time will be a charm.
Wow.
Because hair discrimination still exists in our workplaces and in our public schools.
Do you think that'll be something so simple?
It's so sad that we have to legislate something like our hair. And when you think about how stunning it is, it is.
Oh, no, hold on. Let me just get that off. I think it stops. Yep. Okay. It's cool.
Yeah, but I mean but it's something that needs to be done. Other states have passed it, 23 states. Ohio has not.
That's
and hair
crazy.
discrimination still happens here. I hear about it. I report on it. I talk about it. I commiserate with folks, and so I salute everyone that wants to do something about this. I will say this last time around, I covered it late last year. It has bipartisan support in the House this time.
Okay.
And so there are people on the other side that now know that this exists, and they went out in their communities and talked to people.
Wow.
And so they're like, okay, we need to do something about this.
So hopefully it'll pass this round.
Hopefully it'll pass this time around. Yeah.
So let me give you call these my Larry King questions.
Oh my God, I love it.
Because I like Larry King. I thought he was a great one.
Isn't he phenomenal?
Excellent guy. So the first question is, if you could trade places with somebody for a day to do whatever they do or do whatever you wanted to do, who and what you think you would want to do?
Wow, that's a great question. Trade places with somebody. And do what they do.
I would thought you would be an easy one for you.
No.
But you gonna think about it.
I gotta think about that, because this is the thing, I get my work, I meet so many different people in and out every day. So what would I want to do? I don't know. I have a great respect for our teachers and our educators So but I'm in the classroom. I do some speeches and stuff. So let me think about that. That's a great question.
All right, then we're going to come back to that one. Then what's your guilty pleasure?
I have a few.
Okay.
I love soap operas. I don't miss Young and the Restless and Bold and the Beautiful.
Oh my goodness.
I'm serious about my stories. People are always surprised. I'm like, let me tell you something. Victor Newman is the GOAT.
He's still around?
He's still around. If that man passes, I'm going to the funeral.
Erica Kane, I remember that
Kane,
one. Yeah.
On All My Children.
It was what, Luke and Laura?
Luke and Laura General Hospital.
Yeah, I remember those days. See,
I'm serious about my stories.
I grew up in a household full of women.
Okay.
So soap opera was always on when I was growing up.
I'm serious about my stories.
So you in about them soap operas, huh? What's the best compliment anyone ever gave you?
Oh, man. You know what? I like it when people tell me that I'm just like them. Because I'm just like, I'm not trying to be any. I'm like, of course, I'm just like you. Like, I mean,
you know what? I guess it's the fact that they like you because of you. When people say that, it's not because of who you is. It's like when I said, oh, they got a sister. It was like, okay, it was endearing, the fact that you remind me of family, something like that. So it can be that way.
Good.
It should. It should make you feel good. Something you wish you were better at.
Ooh, something I wish I was better at. I'm a procrastinator. But because I work well under pressure and under deadline, but man, as you get older, I'm in the anxiety. I'm not as good as I used to be anymore. I'm not gonna lie. I used to be able to not blink an eye, stay up all night, get something done, and then just now it's just
multitasking. Yeah. I was like, hold on, man. Let me finish doing this beat. Then I'll get back with you. I can't sit there and be typing. And I used to be able to type and talk, and I can't do that. That's driving me nuts.
I can do that.
I have to focus now.
I have 2 iPads, my 2 phones, the TV on, the podcast, and I'm like able to do them. But like I said, I can
do that. But what I can't do is have you talking to me while I'm doing all of that.
Okay.
That's what I can't. Now, TV will be on, radio will be on. I'm one of them. I got all this madness going on. But if you call me and you talking to me and I'm trying to type, like, hold on, man. So I have trouble with that. Procrastination. Waiting to get it done.
I don't want to do that no more.
How about, what's the worst bit of advice you ever got? What's the worst advice somebody ever gave you?
There's been some pretty bad
suggestions.
There's been some bad stuff.
Go to Gainesville.
No.
But actually, you said that wasn't a bad decision for you.
You know what? I don't have any regrets about my career journey because I believe God orders our steps, and we're supposed to go where we're supposed to go. And all of these are. I'm right where I'm supposed to be.
Exactly.
So no, but man, bad. Oh yeah, some people have some bad advice. Jeez. You can't listen to everybody. That's the advice.
Say somebody's listening.
Don't listen
to everybody. All right, what never cease to make you laugh?
What never cease to make me laugh? God. I'm silly, so I don't know. I'm really silly. I can be silly. Oh God. Just people playing tricks and doing little jokes and stuff. I love it. It makes me giggle. I like seeing people play little silly tricks on each other. Like I like seeing people play, make people smile. Like I like seeing kids like in fun, not anything harmful. That makes me laugh and smile. I like to see people hug and show affection. That makes me happy.
So we're gonna go back. Have you thought about it?
You know what? I think I would like to be a Hollywood star.
Oprah.
Maybe.
I thought you would have said her. Yeah, I thought you would have been like, of course, I want to be Oprah.
I want to be a talk show. I want to strut down Hollywood, Rodeo Drive. I want the star on the.
Yeah, that's your girl. I thought, yes. I thought for one day you wouldn't want to be.
One day I want to be Oprah. But I want to be old school Oprah when she had the Oprah Winfrey show.
That's what I'm saying. You could be whenever you could be the first Oprah Winfrey show when she was Chicago Oprah Winfrey coming out.
Yes, That's
Yes.
the Oprah. I
That's the
wanna
Oprah
be.
you would want to be.
I tell you,
Because people forget she was a journalist.
this new generation,
Yes.
they did not know. And I said, what? I
Yes.
grew up, like 4 o'clock, I didn't miss.
Yes.
But I'm like, oh God, Sia, it's been 25 years.
Yes.
And they just know her as own.
As own,
and
that's
I said,
it.
No, y'all.
Mm-mm.
I
She
said,
was
take it back even before this. She was a reporter on the street.
That's correct.
She was a news anchor.
That's
and
correct.
they're just, these.
And if she tells that story, she has similar stories to you as it relates to trying to break through, trying to fit in, trying to do everything. Even back then, because she was prior to you, it was even worse.
It was worse.
So-
Her hair fell out.
Exactly.
But that's why I actually identified seeing a brown-skinned woman with a wide nose and wide lips on TV.
Correct.
That looked like, I was like, wow,
Yeah.
there weren't many.
There wasn't many, right.
Everybody they didn't look like me. And look up on my TV and I'm like, wow. And she had achieved.
That's correct. That's
you
correct.
know, and so always I'm like, man,
Yeah.
it was.
Oprah before.
Yeah,
Like you say, first
Oprah.
couple. Give me Oprah first season.
Oprah, yeah, Oprah first season. Oprah, yeah, old school Oprah. Yeah, talk show host.
Talk show host.
Talk show
That's
host.
right up your alley. It wouldn't take you too much out
That's
your
the talk
stilo.
show host days.
Yeah, they don't have many of them. Because even when you was
No.
flashing the back, Geraldo even was good back then.
Oh yeah, I met Geraldo.
I met him too.
Yeah.
I liked him back then, but when I met him, he wasn't the same guy.
No, he's almost 80.
Yeah,
He's my dad. Yeah, he's
yeah.
almost my dad.
Yeah, yeah.
I met him. He lives in Shaker Heights.
Yeah.
I actually was stalking him outside his house, and he told me to come on in,
Right.
and for a news story, and
Uh-huh.
he was very gracious. But yeah, he's old. That Geraldo.
Yeah.
That's different Geraldo.
So let me
yeah.
ask you another question that I meant to ask you, and then we're going to let you close us out. You moved to Cleveland. You ain't got to tell me exactly where, but where did you settle at? What city?
Oh no, I don't mind. It's public record. Shaker Heights.
So you ended, what made you pick Shaker?
My boss told me to move there. He told me, he said, Sia, we got this east-west thing.
That's why I'm asking you, because you wouldn't know
And
that
he
if you
was
wasn't
just
here.
like- yeah, he
Right.
told me, he said, we got this east-west thing. He said, I'm a east sider. I live in Shaker. And he said, if you move west, that's fine. And so I looked in Lakewood. And then when I came here, my dad and I drove around and I said, I really want someplace quiet. I don't want to live in no bars. I'm older. When I come home, I want to come home. Quiet, peace. And so I settled in Shaker and I love it.
Okay.
I love my community.
Yeah, I'm Cleveland Heights.
I like Cleveland
Yes,
Heights
I'm
too.
Cleveland Heights.
Listen, I'm like, hey, I might, who knows? But I love Shaker Heights. I love I love all of Cleveland. I really do. But
Excellent.
there's something about Shaker. I vibed and it just
Excellent.
quiet. Yeah.
Sister, I really appreciate you
I
coming on our
appreciate you
program, man. You
too.
gave us a lot of good content and
Oh,
information,
thank
and
you.
we're going to spread it out so people will get a chance to know you.
I
and
enjoy you. Thank you for this
Oh,
work
no
you do. I
problem.
really
No
appreciate
problem.
this. Yeah.
And listen, people, if you want to follow her, you can go look into our description. We're going to leave links in our description on how you can follow her on Instagram and follow her career around on Facebook and all the other social media networks she got out there, and also to tune in on Channel 19 News to watch her. But just like I told you, we're going to let you close out this show just like on Hot Wings.
Okay.
You get to have that camera right there, and you get the chance to talk and say whatever you want to say. If there's just something you want on your heart that you just want to tell the people, you can tell them, and then tell them how they can make sure they can get in contact with you and that kind of thing. And the camera's
Hey, I
yours.
got a question
Oh,
for
wait,
you.
oh,
got
I
a
keep forgetting about
question.
got
Ask
a
away.
question.
I got a question for both of y'all.
Uh-oh.
Sure.
See who can answer this one correctly. Since Skype came up, when was Skype invented? Does anybody know?
Jesus.
Let me
Teeth?
think. I remember Skyping with my nieces and nephews in 2000. It's got to be like 2000. Let's see.
I'm going to go with 2000.
No.
You think it's
2000. It was
Okay,
later.
2000 for Ken. Sia.
See,
I'm going to say 2000. I'm going to say 2008.
Both of y'all was wrong.
What is it?
It was 2003. Ken was
Wow.
closer.
That early?
Yeah.
Wow.
Where was I?
I knew it had to be because I started to go into the 90s, and I said, no, I don't think it was the 90s.
I remember Skype was out there because a lot of businesses had it.
Yeah.
I think it was still.
I
in the
I
time of
didn't.
the
I wasn't into the Skype when it came out. I was.
hardcore Skype.
Oh, I
I
couldn't
had
do
my
Skype.
little webcam. You could tell me now that
Well,
I'm
you was in all that. Y'all had to. You had to get
I
it
was
that
in
and
front
all
of
that.
it, like, my
Yeah.
nieces and nephews, that's how we talk to them on Sundays.
Skype.
Skype. That's how I
Good
kept
old
in touch.
Skype.
Good old Skype.
Microsoft, I think, still owns Skype.
I think I might still have Skype on my cell phone. Quit playing.
You probably do.
Old school.
yeah,
Is Skype still around?
yeah,
Skype is still
they
around.
still using Skype.
Wow.
Because my brother, he was a banker, so he used to use Skype all the time.
Yeah.
Interesting. Good old
That's what
Skype.
we do.
Very interesting. Oh, that was a little long history fact for you guys right there. Skype was created in 2002. 2003. Let me get it right.
2003.
Aging
Skype.
ourselves.
We all aged ourselves on this program. So, hey, like I say, everybody listen to us is our age anyway. So y'all appreciate this. All right, Miss Sia, you take us on out of here.
All right. So
Yeah, I want you to look at that. I want you to pull your mic over a little
Let me
bit.
pull my mic.
Yeah, that way, because I
so-
want them to see you real nice.
All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you all for listening to this, my opportunity to connect with you. Appreciate the work that Mr. Dowell is doing, all the production team. Love Cleveland. Thank you for embracing me and loving on me. I feel home here. I feel community. If you ever need anything, everyone knows I stay on social at TV News Lady. That's the easiest way to reach me. I'm happy to hear your story ideas. If there's anything you need help with, if I can't take care of it, I'll find somebody that can. And just love on each other, be good to each other, and that's it.
All right, everybody. That's Sia Nyorkor from Channel 19 News. They are everywhere. It's 19 News. Hey, make sure we're going to leave links in our descriptions where you can check out her, and make sure you follow her and watch her on Channel 19 News. She's doing a great job here. And we will see you next time. Peace.